Or you can see that stuff. I'm not wearing my glasses. Ready, set. Okay, ready, set. Hi! I don't know what I'm saying. Take 546. Welcome to our first vlog on our travel channel. We generally don't speak on the videos on this channel, but we decided an introduction to us was in order. We thought we would step away from our normal weekly video and answer questions we have received since coming to South Korea.
Question number one.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name's Jennifer.
I'm Dan. All right, true first question. Why are we in South Korea and how long are we here for? Well, we're in South Korea because of my job. I work for the Department of the Army and we get moved every 3 to 5 years. So we got here a year and a half ago. We're scheduled to be here for 3 years. Means we return to the United States in July of 2022. So we're talking about extending for another year because coronavirus is ruining everybody's 2020, but you know, we were not able to travel for most of 2020, so we weren't able to see most of what we planned on seeing in 2020. So
The original plan was to see all of South Korea the first year, and then the following 2 years to visit other countries. So we'll see how it goes now. We're not really making any plans.
all right, so another question we get, where have you lived before? Everywhere. I've lived in Minnesota, New Jersey, Oregon, California, Indiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Maryland, Germany, and now South Korea. And if you include the military stations that I was at for more than 30 days, I also lived in South Carolina and Georgia.
My list is smaller but spread out. I've lived in Washington, Alaska, Hawaii, Utah, Oregon, California, Indiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Maryland, Germany, and now South Korea.
Typo number one, Jennifer has never lived in Germany.
That's what happens when you read off of a list.
But if we don't have it written down, we're going to forget 90% of what we're trying to say, and especially when you've been as many places as we've been, it's hard to remember it all. Next question. What are the differences between living in Germany and living in Korea? It's an apples to oranges comparison with a time factor thrown in for good measure. I lived in Germany in 1991, actually from 1991 to 1998. We've been in South Korea since July of 2019. The cultures are completely different. The climates are completely different. The terrain is completely different. But the biggest difference is with the technological advances that we've made since the 1990s. In 1991, when I was in Germany, once every few months, I'd call somebody in the United States. I'd talk to them for 10, 15 minutes, and it would cost a fortune to do that. You know, nowadays, we video chat for free. We can talk to anybody we want, anywhere in the world, for no extra than we already pay for our cell phone. And we get to see each other at the same time, not just hear each other on the phone. So the technology has helped keep in contact with family and friends no matter where we are, which makes the world a much smaller place to be in now. Technology is also greatly assisted with the language barrier. When I lived in Germany, you either learned German and spoke to the natives in their native tongue, or you hope they spoke English. Here, you can try to learn Hangul. It's very difficult for us, but we use Google Translate. So even though we can't speak Hangul, even though they can't speak Korean, or the Koreans can't speak English, we can Google Translate what we want to ask them, like if we're trying to get garbage bags or something, and just show them our phone. And they know exactly what we want. And so all the unease that comes with the language barrier, it's taken away, and it makes it a lot easier. In Germany, a lot of words in English come from the Germanic language. Kindergarten is an exact replica. It's kindergarten in Germany, it's kindergarten in the United States of America. Pronounced the same, written the same, everything. Other words sound the same in English as they do in German, like house. House is house in both languages. It's just spelled differently for German. So the problem with Germany is if you speak German, if you speak a dialect that's down around southern Germany, down Munich, and then you go up to northern Germany, up in Hanover, they might not understand what you're saying because of the dialects. It's like somebody from Texas going to New York City and somebody says water, and they're asking what is water because they've never heard it. Or somebody from Minnesota going down to Louisiana and hearing that French Cajun accent down in New Orleans, they're not going to understand it. Same thing in Germany. You don't have that much of a dialect throughout the Korean peninsula, so it's easier to say the word and have everybody understand, but the language, for me, is harder to learn. But if we at least try, if you say one word to a Korean, annyeonghaseyo, hello, you're getting a whole paragraph in return, and you just, oh, okay, yes, thank you, bye. So, well, we like it, it's fun, it's hard, but the differences between the cultures, it's not comparable.
What do you dislike about living in Korea? The food.
Yeah, the food. Food is my biggest disappointment because I was really hoping to enjoy the Korean dishes, and the ones I really like. But overall, I dislike the majority of it. It's a lot of fish, a lot of seafood. I don't like those two items. There's a specific spice they use in a lot of stuff that I don't like that either. And that's the main reason I don't like kimchi. All kimchi that I've tried has that specific spice. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. There's enough Korean dishes that I do enjoy that no matter where we go, I can find something to eat anywhere and be happy with it. And the beef bulgogi is phenomenal.
Oh, love the beef bulgogi. And the pork cutlet. If you don't like red meat, get pork cutlet, because that is amazing everywhere too.
All right, so driving. Imagine 50 million people all being given a driver's license, given a car, and being told to enjoy their life. That's how it is driving around here. On my way to get my USFK driver's license, I was rear-ended by a taxi on post. So that was 3 weeks after we got here. It's the second time in my life I've been in an accident with another vehicle, so it was kind of crazy. There's no laws about who can be in the left lane on the highway, so an overloaded truck that can't do half the speed limit has the same ability, same right to be in the left lane as any other car on the road, even if he's blocking traffic for 20 kilometers. Doesn't matter, they don't care. Driving the highway, you have to use all the lanes to try to maintain the speed limit. A lot of people drive in the left lane or in the middle lane, and they don't even come close to the speed limits.
Plus, when they get close to a traffic cam, they will slam on their brakes.
yeah, there's no police on the highways. There's cameras on the sides of the roads, cameras overhead. So everybody slams on the brakes because they're doing 110 kilometers an hour. It's a 90 kilometer an hour speed zone. There's a camera overhead. They slam on the brakes, drop down to 60, go under the camera, and then slam on the gas pedal and right back up to 110. Or they have these areas that it's average speed check zone. So you'll go by one camera, and then in a kilometer or two is another camera. And in theory, if you are exceeding the speed limit between the two, the second one's gonna take your picture. I've never had it happen. I've never heard of anybody have it happen, but it's something they believe happens. So they'll go by the first camera and never speed back up. And they think that there's no grace on those cameras. Like if it's a 90 kilometer speed zone and you're doing 91, that you're gonna get a ticket. I've never gotten a ticket for speeding, period.
Neither have I.
You know, and I've gotten under those cameras at 100 kilometers, 10 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, never got a speeding ticket. So
We're not saying it doesn't happen, it just hasn't happened to us.
yeah, it's really an interesting place to drive because of the way they drive. Red lights. Red lights, that's just merely a suggestion. I've seen them blow straight through the intersection without ever tapping the brake pedal. I've seen them come to a stop, look and go because they think that they can go before the cars with the green lights get into the intersection. I've seen them sit and wait for the light to turn green. So it is pretty much just a suggestion. It is illegal to run a red light in this country, just like it is pretty much anywhere else. But again, there's no cops. So if there's a red light camera, what they will do is the road has the right turn, then they will go back around and come back on the other side of the intersection. So they don't stop for the red light. They just turn off, make a quick U-turn and get right back on the road. So it's illegal, but they do that too. But it's okay, as long as you turn your hazard lights on, any illegal move you make, including backing up a freeway entrance ramp, standing on the side of the road, peeing on the side of the road, smoking a cigarette, you know, whatever,
And if
doing a U-turn, driving the wrong way on a one-way street, whatever you want to do, just turn your hazard lights on and you're fine.
also if you're a delivery man on a scooter, watch out because they will run you over if you're walking. They will go right through traffic if the gap's big enough. Sometimes even if it's not, they don't stop for anything. So
Nothing.
try to avoid those.
As if the driving itself wasn't bad enough, the roads themselves are atrocious. Even after they repave it, it's like driving on a washboard sometimes. I mean, there are litter black marks on the highways because some of these vehicles, they're called bongos. They're basically like a pickup truck and they use them for everything. Well, when there's nothing in the back end is very, very lightweight. And when they hit these bumps in the highway at speed, their tires leave the pavement. So there are black marks all over the highway from these trucks literally catching air on the bumps on the highway, which is probably one of the reasons there's so many accidents on the highway, because if you do lose traction, when you come down, you generally don't come down exactly straight and you start swerving and hit the guardrail, hit the car next to you, whatever. And even when they repave the roads, just about every overpass you come to, you bump up on the overpass, you bump down coming off the other side of it. And just in general, the roads are not level. the brand new highways, and they are putting highways in like mad around here, but the brand new highways, when they first open up, you swear you're driving on a road that hasn't been repaved in 40, 50 years. It's really that bad. And then you have the normal city roads that are littered with speed bumps. Again, they don't use police. On the highways, they use speed cameras and radars. In the cities, they just put in speed bumps. If there's a crosswalk up there, they'll put a speed bump on both sides. And they're marked. They're black and yellow stripes. They're black and yellow stripes across the speed bump, a sign that tells you there's a speed bump, but that black and yellow paint wears off. And sometimes that sign isn't there.
Sometimes
And
they put the markings and the speed bump's gone.
Yeah, there might not be a speed bump, and some of them are not even speed bumps. They're to make you slow down thinking there's a speed bump. Most Koreans don't slow down for them. It's amazing their suspensions last even a few years, because some of these speed bumps, I have a four-wheel drive vehicle, I'm going over them at 25 kilometers an hour. And the car in front of me went over it, and I watched the tires come off the ground before it made contact with the road on the other side of the speed bump. They don't slow down for them. Watch the sparks shoot out from underneath when their exhaust system hit the speed bump or whatever. But they're all over the place. And some of them are in the middle of curves and turns and stuff. So between the driving, the roadways themselves, and the fact that you can park anywhere, on a curve, on the side of the road, anywhere you want, facing any direction you want your vehicle facing, it makes it really fun to drive in this country. And we're only going to do the things we dislike the most. So the last thing is the hours for Korean shops, buildings, offices. Nothing opens till 10 a.m. Starbucks generally opens at 8. And when we're talking about this, we're talking about off base. On base, everything opens at a normal hour. You get up, you go to work, you stop, get your coffee on your way to work, because at 6 o'clock in the morning, Starbucks is open serving coffee for those going to work. Korean coffee shops don't open till 10.
Oh, Korean coffee shops are amazing.
And they don't open until 10. Stores don't open to 10. You know, in the U.S., we go shopping 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, multiple stores. Here, you're not going anywhere till 10 o'clock. There's no stores are going to be open till 10. They might not close till midnight or 2 a.m. In Seoul, Busan, some of the bigger cities, they do have some stores that are 24/7, some E-Marts and Lottie Marts. But generally speaking, nothing opens till 10 a.m. So for people like us, we're ready to go at 7 a.m. The mornings drag when we want to go someplace, because we have to wait for 2-3 hours before we leave the house to go where we want to go. So obviously, only the 3 things we dislike the most about the country. And there's really not a whole lot of other things to dislike about living here. So what do we like about living here in Korea?
The most. Costs. So many things are cheaper here. We pay cash for all my dental appointments and doctor's appointments, his as well. As our insurance doesn't pay for out-of-network providers, which is the whole country. We also pay cash for any prescriptions, which are usually less than what you'd pay in a copay. Food is cheaper here. A meal at a restaurant, a nice restaurant, will run you an average of $15 a person, and that's for everything, including your drinks. The same meal in the States would be at least double that. Our rent and utilities are paid by the government, but I know the utility cost average half of what it was when we lived anywhere in the United States. So huge savings there.
Yeah, the food. Yeah, I know we said it was one of my biggest disappointments. But that's just the Korean dishes. You know, the actual made dishes.
And not all of them.
And not all of them. But when you go to any restaurant, Korean barbecue is a great example.
Oh.
You don't get a plate. You get 15 plates. You get, and they will bring as much as you want. You get a plate of kimchi, you get a plate of all kinds of stuff, vegetables, all kinds of stuff, and you can eat as much of that as you want without having to pay for them to keep bringing it to you. If you get more meat for the barbecue, then you pay for that meat that you get. But all those sides, and I've never gone to a Korean restaurant that I didn't have at least 8 side dishes along with the main meal.
Healthy. Too.
And it's healthy. So, you know, you go, you spend $15 on a really good Korean barbecue dinner. You're not leaving there hungry, because if you don't get enough meat, you just eat the other stuff, except the kimchi. You eat the other stuff because it'll fill you up. It'll keep you full too. It's not like you're gonna eat and a half hour after you leave the restaurant, you're gonna be hungry. Which a lot of times, if you don't pay much for the meal, you're gonna be hungry shortly afterwards. The freshness of the fruit and vegetables everywhere, whether you're in the grocery store, whether you're at a restaurant, everything is fresh as far as the fruits and vegetables go. They're huge.
They taste better.
They're huge, they taste good, and they're usually cheap. Korean pears are expensive. Korean pears generally go about 8,000 won for one pear. So 7,000 won is roughly $5.50, $6. So $5.50 or $6 for one pear seems to be very expensive until you consider the pear is this size and usually weighs over 3 pounds. So it's probably the amount of pear that you get for 7,000 won is probably equivalent
To a bag of pears.
to a bag of pears in the US that you can pay $4 or $5 for. So it's not a lot more expensive for a pear. It's just that you feel like it because you're getting one pear instead of a bag of pears. But convenience stores, grocery stores, markets, trucks on the side of the roadway, carts on the side of the roadway, trucks like ice cream trucks in the States driving around the neighborhood ensure that you get freshest fruits and vegetables there is. If you watched our video around our house, we are surrounded by fields. We have rice paddies right across the street. And these fields, they cultivate them 24/7, but 12 months out of the year. When one crop's done, the next one goes in. When that one's done, the next one goes in. It's continuous, so you always have fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. We'll actually do a fruit and veggie video on our other channel sometime in the near future.
So subscribe so that you get notified when it comes up.
So probably one of the best things about being here is the safety and security in this country. There's very little crime here, at least crime being committed by the Koreans. On base, it's U.S. soldiers, U.S. personnel, U.S. ideologies, and there's the U.S. idiots, that don't think the laws apply to them. But off base, you can leave your cell phone in a public bathroom, come back 2 hours later, it's still going to be sitting in the bathroom. Nobody's going to take it, We have never gone anywhere at any time where we felt uncomfortable. We're carrying around expensive camera equipment with us. We're Americans. Generally speaking, people think Americans are rich, so they see us, they think we have money. In Korea, it's even more so because what we make compared to what Koreans make, it's a drastic difference. Even though they're not at like a level of poverty in their country, they think we're rich. They see the house we're in. This house costs $3,200 a month for rent. We don't pay it. If we paid it, we couldn't live here. We don't make enough to do that, but they think we do. But we've never felt like, oh, this is not a good area of town. We shouldn't be walking down these streets by ourselves. Oh, look, there's a bunch of people coming this way. We should maybe duck into this store or whatever. Never felt that way. Never felt uncomfortable. Never felt worried about the vehicle getting broken into. I leave stuff in my vehicle that I would not leave in the vehicle in the U.S.
I accidentally left my purse in the car for a week with it unlocked and didn't even realize it. Never even crossed my mind that somebody would touch it.
Everything in this country is under CCTV. They have cameras on the roads. Some of them are speed cameras, some of them are red light cameras, and a lot of them are CCTV, like your Department of Transportation cameras in the States, right? But they're all over. That's how they give tickets. You park in the side of the road, no parking, you're getting a ticket in the mail. You're always getting your tickets in the mail because they caught you on camera somewhere. Our house has a security system. It works. We never turn it on, but when we moved in, we bumped a button and we had a security guard at the door coming into the house to see what was wrong.
In a matter of moments, too.
Yeah, and it's a camera. There's cameras in the rooms. There's, you know, if you open the window, it'll go off. There's all kinds of stuff. We never said it because there's no reason to. There's cameras all over the streets in our neighborhood, and break-ins are just, they're unheard of here in Korea. People don't break into people's houses. People don't steal other people's stuff. So
our sense of honor is definitely very strong in that aspect.
Yeah, the safety and security in this country. When I was in Germany, there were places we did not go. You never went walking around by yourself. That was, I mean, I know people that ended up dead because they did that. Here, it's not a problem. So nothing we've done here has worried us, no matter where we went or what time. Not the same here as other places. So
where have you previously traveled the most, and some of the most famous sites you've seen, Dan?
I've been to almost all of the 48 continental states. I've been to Canada, the Bahamas, specifically Nassau, Germany, France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Kuwait, Iraq, and South Korea. Some of the places I've seen in the U.S., the Petrified Forest in Arizona, Disneyland in California, Crater Lake in Oregon, the Space Needle in Washington, White Sands in New Mexico, the Alamo in Texas, Paul Bunyan in Minnesota, the Grand Tetons in Wyoming, New Orleans, but it was at its worst. We went there right after Hurricane Katrina. We went there for relief efforts after Hurricane Katrina. Marengo Caves in Indiana, the Mystery Hall in West Virginia, Virginia Beach in Virginia, Epcot Center in Florida, the National Mall and several of the Smithsonian museums in Washington, D.C., Edgar Allan Poe's house in Maryland, the Brandywine River Powder Mills in Delaware, Hershey Factory in Pennsylvania, Empire State Building in New York, Huntsville Space Center in Alabama, Neuschwanstein Castle in Germany, and Chemical Ali's house in Iraq. So lots of places I've been.
That's just a drop in the bucket of some of the places we've been. We went to every single president's house in Virginia. Mount Vernon was definitely my favorite. The Smithsonian's, we definitely are going back there. So basically, I'm going to say about a quarter of the places Dan's been, I've gone with him. and plan to see all the other places that he's seen as well.
Yeah. And again, that's just some of the bigger, more well-known places in the States. We've both been all over to all kinds of places that we didn't know existed until we were there.
Yeah,
So
we're very good at just stumbling across places.
we go somewhere, like, oh, there's a cave right down the road from us when we were in Indiana. Never heard of it. People 40 miles away had never heard of it. So we've been all over, done all kinds of stuff.
All right, what are our future plans? We plan to see as much of Korea as we can while we are here, and considering extending since coronavirus has robbed us of a year of sightseeing here. We also want to go to see Japan, China, and Thailand, and probably a few more of the Asian countries while we're here. Before we leave Korea. Further travel plans include most of Europe, the European countries, Greenland, the Caribbeans, Alaska, and more of the 48, of course. We love visiting new places, seeing unique and sometimes strange things, love to learn the history behind those sites, and love to share these adventures with those who either by choice or by circumstance are unable to travel to see them. Also, as always, we sincerely hope you will subscribe to our channel and like our videos. We did just start a new channel yesterday for our extras, so if you've enjoyed this vlog channel, please subscribe. We will be doing vlogs, cooking channels, lots of taste tests. So hopefully
And
you
by
enjoy
we,
that.
Jennifer will be doing all the vlogging. I'll eat. No problem eating. I'll do taste tests, but I'm not cooking. And if I do cook, you're not gonna see it.
All right, thank you.